What do crafting and a magical water lantern festival have in common? Well, today we are going to be making Christmas miracles happen for the Mystery Box Challenge. Now, this challenge is co-hosted by Courtney from Creative on the Cheap and Shannon from the Cozy Christmas Cottage. This challenge is full of twisted, but one of those is a pay it forward portion of the challenge. Now, my box came from Sweet Wendy from White Sparrow Living. She is just, I love her to bits and pieces. And in just a little bit, I'm going to share with you more about that Water Lantern Festival. But first, we've got to open the dreaded mystery box. When all of the participants receive these boxes, we have no idea what is in them. And this time there was a bunch of twists, and I will share those with you as we go. So let's start by opening the box. Okay, it is time to open the mystery box, but I am imagining all the things this box has gone through because look at how beat up it arrived to me. So Wendy, I hope there's nothing fragile in here because I'm not feeling optimistic with the way they treated this. So here we go. We're gonna open it up and see all the things that she sent me and see what we have to work with. Now, it's been a minute since I have done a mystery box challenge. They are so much fun because they really do challenge your creativity and help you to think outside of the box. And there's some fun special twists that we're gonna be throwing in this time. Okay, so she sent a card. We're gonna open that first. She sent a card. It says, I lift my eyes up to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. That's beautiful scripture. Okay, and she sent some really cute Christmas socks. So I might put these on to help inspire my creativity. I love it. Okay, my beautiful Nat, I hope you like my box o' perky prizes, and I know that you will make some amazing projects. I think I already know what you will be making with light bulb I sent, and I cannot wait to see if I am right. Love you to the moon and back, sweet friend. Happy crafting. God is love. XOXO. Be the light. Wendy. She is just literally the sweetest. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Thankfully, she put in some packing paper. Maybe that padded some of the blows that it went through. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the sign, it did get damaged. Dang it. But it says, let us know. We'll have to work around the damage. Thank you, U.S. Postal Service. But that's a really cute sign. We'll think of something creative to do with this. Okay. Some beautiful reindeer ribbon that's glittery. I love that. That is very, very beautiful. Super, super cute. Okay. This must be one of the challenge pieces, so I'm going to set that aside for right now. And then we were challenged with some wrapping paper. This is really cute wrapping paper. I love it. It's really, really cute. I love that. So we'll see how I use that in one of my DIYs. Then some Merry Christmas tags. Like so. Okay, those are cute. I'm sure I can do something cute with that. Okay, this is an ornament challenge item. We're gonna save that for just a second too. And then we've got a macrame craft kit. This looks like it's like a Rudolph kit. So we'll think on that one. And let's see, there's the broken piece. Maybe we can repair it. I don't know. Oh my goodness. I have already done some of these little Nutcrackers, so I cannot wait to do more with these because I've already got some of this in my decor this year, so this is perfect. I am so excited to work with those. This must be the light bulb that she sent, and hopefully it didn't break with all that beading. Okay, so. Okay, this is a red light. She thinks that she already knows what I'm gonna do with this. I don't even know what I'm gonna do with this. Let's see if great minds think alike, Wendy. I don't know, that is really cool. It's red, I like that. So that is definitely on theme. I'm gonna think. All right, and then we've got ornament challenge item. Oh my word, this is cute. Okay, it says Noel. It's wood. Let's see what we do with this. Okay, so I've got a lot of really great things. She was super nice to me. I'll tell you who I sent mine to later in the episode because you're gonna wanna check it out because I don't know if I was as nice. All right, well, we're gonna have fun with this. I'm gonna think on it. We'll come back in a few seconds your time. We are on our way to the Water Lantern Festival to meet all of you. You're awesome. I can't wait to meet you in person. Before we get into the crafting, Lisa Birmingham and Lisa is also participating in this collaboration, are hitting the road to meet some of you in person at the Water Lantern Festival and to hopefully share in a little bit of the joy of the season. So let's hit the road. Okay, before we get into the next DIY, I want to give a big thank you to Creality for sponsoring this part of the episode. I am so excited to share with you about this product because it's truly amazing. This is a little bit more of like a splurge item, but also it could be a very, very good investment if you wanted to start up an awesome side hustle. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to share it with you, but also because this machine will make the most custom, beautiful items and Christmas gifts this holiday season. You will love it. It's so mind-boggling. So I have the Creality Falcon 2 Pro, which is in the 40-watt version. This machine is amazing. You can cut through acrylic, you can cut through wood, up to, I think it's like a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch thick. I gotta double check on that, but you can cut through leather, you can cut through cardboard. It is so versatile. So you can take basswood and cut it into different shapes. You can cut through a cutting board. I just received it and just got it set up, so I am still kind of just experimenting with it, and what I have experimented with so far is just mind-boggling. In addition to cutting through these items, you can etch and burn items like acrylic, like the wood, like anodized aluminum. I am so excited to really try this out a lot more because possibilities are endless. Now, I look at this machine, it's a little bit on the pricier side, but the things that you could do with it are so professional that you could then do a side hustle and make money using this machine. But it is just absolutely incredible. The setup of the actual machine is super, super simple. Setting up the software to use the machine's a little bit on the trickier side. I am using Lightburn. If you've worked in like Design Studio on Cricut or probably Silhouette, I haven't ever used a Silhouette. It's kind of a similar concept, slightly not as user-friendly on that one, but the difference in the quality of what you are gonna get with a laser etching machine is just so precise, so amazing, and a lot faster when it comes to like wood cutting and wood burning and a more precise professional look. I cannot wait to like use this more, get really, really familiar with it. And if you're wanting to check it out, I put a link in the description box below. Check it out. If you have any inclination of starting like an Etsy shop or something like that, I think, or making the most amazing customized gifts ever and having it pay for itself by all of the really cool things that you can make with it, definitely check it out. I highly recommend it. It's so awesome. And like I said, I cannot wait to start using it a little bit more. Okay, so for our first project, it was a red light bulb. And one of the challenges and twists that were given to us this time around was a light bulb project. And Wendy sent me a red light bulb. She had something in mind that I would make with this. So I don't know if this is what you were thinking, Wendy, but we're gonna dive into that in just a second. But what I'm gonna need first for this challenge piece is my Creality machine. So any guesses what we're gonna make? When you get set a red light bulb at Christmas time for a Christmas box challenge, there's really only one thing you can make, right? That is a Rudolph nose and a Rudolph type craft. So that's what we're gonna do. The first thing I did is I found a beautiful SVG file on Etsy of Rudolph. It was adorable. He was in an ornament. So I purchased that for $2.50. Totally worth it. I didn't have to design anything. It was good to go. Super, super cute. And then I cut it out on my Creality machine and it made it so easy. I didn't have to use my jigsaw. It was super precise and it was way easier than another portion coming up here in just a second. And I loved it. It was so super cute. And then I went about collecting all the items that I was going to use. And there's going to be a lot of layers in this, and that's because it's all based around one like leftover light kit that I had from my IKEA hack lantern that I didn't end up using, and so I had it extra on hand. I could have probably gone out and bought like a little light bulb kit, but I already had this one, so I was working around it. Now, one of the challenges that we had, it was the length of the light bulb. It was actually quite tall light bulb, so that was an obstacle. The light kit was also tall, so we had to account for all of that. But we made it work. So after we cut that out, I had all of my items, and I first started out by taking some antique wax because it gives a stained effect. It dries very quickly. And so that's what I use to stain Rudolphs that we just so easily cut out on my Creality machine. And then while that was drying, I also had this wood round. I think it was about 12 inches, really thick. And what I did is I painted it in black because originally I was thinking I wanted to do it in black. It would have been good in black too, but you'll see in a second we changed the color. And then to match our Rudolph face, I had one of those round frames that you can get at Hobby Lobby. They're kind of like pre-made plaques, and I went ahead and did the antique wax on that to match our Rudolph. Natalie, find words today. I'm struggling. Okay, I also got a sparkly red vinyl placemat from Hobby Lobby that was glittery, and I'm like, oh, that'll be perfect because then it can bring out a little bit more of the red, but also cover up that white on the plaque. I could have probably just painted it, but that seemed easy. And I first tried to trace it out the circle with wrapping paper. It was kind of jaggedy. It didn't really work out that great, but in the end we cut it out to match and it looked pretty good. So we had all of our elements in place. Then I went out to my workshop because I now needed to cut a hole into all of the layers really to match up our Rudolph nose. Now this wood round was a little too thick for me to cut it out on the Creality machine. I think it has up to like a 1/2 or 3/4 inch thick, and this is definitely an inch thick. And so I'm like, well, easy peasy, I'll just go out into my workshop and use my wood boring bit and my beautiful Athena drill, but that did not work out too good. Now, we struggled with this, but I am convinced that it was because there's just so many different layers of this kind of glued together. I think the wood was still wet. Like I touched the wood, it did not feel very dry. I think that created a challenge, but whatever it was way more difficult than it should have been to cut out that hole. Like I've never ran into that before. It's usually way easier. I love my wood boring bits. They're awesome. I think going forward, I think I would have used like a more dry plywood or something for this layer, but we got the job done. Anyways, it did mess up my paint finish a little bit, and I'm like, you know, I probably prematurely painted it in the first place because I needed to make those cuts anyways. So while I was in my workshop, I ran into some dark brown spray paint, and I'm like, you know what? Dark brown with the Rudolph would be like even better, I think. So I decided to spray that in a dark chocolate brown, and then also I had like some little, what do you call them? Bobs and bubbles or doodads or whatever, just little different things on my craft room that I was going to use as spacers to add like dimension to and height to our project. And I spray painted those in the same brown so that they would disappear once we used them to create space. Little wood squares, I spray painted them all in, it's called dark walnut if you want to know. And then of course we had to cut a hole in the plaque, and while I was already there, I'm like, you know, I could probably get it all and cut it on the Creality machine, but since I had everything all aligned and I had to have it just so, I went, and I'm still getting familiar with my Creality machine, I went ahead and cut out the remaining hole in that last plaque. And that actually did work with my wood boring bit, and that went good. So we got through, and it was messy and we did it. So then to finish it out, we went back up to my craft room and I had to trace out the placemat and cut that hole out. So all of the holes were ready for that red light bulb that is the pivotal part of this whole thing and the reason for all of it. And so what I did is we hot glued the placemat down into place, and then we got everything spaced out. I ended up using the thread spools, all the spacers, and I glued all of those into place and made sure everything was lined up. We put the big round on top, and then we did the Rudolph, and everything was lined up. And I was like, yes, this is really turning out, and it was going good. Of course, you got the round macrame hoop that I used to add a little more height and dimension to hide some of the mechanics for the light bulb. We stained that and glued that with some wood glue. And then I took some fairy lights. I hot glued the little switch up top so I could easily reach it. It probably would have been fine on the bottom too. Just glue it on there somewhere, and I wrapped around some of those fairy lights. If I were to go back, I would have probably done just regular Christmas lights because the fairy lights were not very bright, so you don't see the light from that as much. So I would probably go back and use some brighter wattage Christmas lights. And then we're done, and it is so cute. I love this piece. I had so much fun. Everything together, everything fully attached. We can now put in the light bulb and attach it, and I'm like, oh my word, this is so adorable. I loved it. It's so cartoony, so cute, so festive. And in a second here, you'll see it's so bright. But before we get to that, I embellished the top with a couple of berries and like ivy leaves, not ivy, holly, holly leaves, and some berries and a cute little bow on top. And I just glued that into place for a little added embellishment. You could do that or you could not do that. Either way, it's super cute. Adorable. Now, trigger warning, I'm gonna put up on the screen what it looks like with the light on. Okay, just for a second there, because it is so bright that it's blinding. So if you want to recreate this, you don't necessarily need to turn it on. I love the idea of it being lit up, but if you can find a lower wattage red light bulb, I would recommend that, because this was a 60 watt and it was so bright. But all that being said, it looks cute unlit. It's blinding when it's on. That nose would definitely guide Santa's sleigh for sure with how bright it is. It needed to be bright, right, on a foggy night? But I love this project, and I hope that you enjoyed that. So Rudolph's nose is ready to guide Santa's sleigh, and we, in a short bit, will also have some lights ready to release on the water. So let's check in and see how things are going there. Okay, we've arrived to the Water Lantern Festival. We're so excited to meet some of you, and I've got Lisa here. We're looking forward to meeting you. So excited. Hey guys. Hi. Next up, I've got another like glowing project for you. I guess I'm feeling all inspired by the glowing lanterns from the Water Lantern Festival. They were beautiful. But the next project, it kind of took shape as I was going along. So as one of the challenge pieces that we were given was everybody was required to use some sort of wrapping paper in one of their projects. And so she sent me this beautiful Christmas tree wrapping paper. She also sent me this beautiful reindeer ribbon, and then also some gift tags. And I'm gonna use all of those in one fancy special present here. So let's start assembling. So what I did is I took a lidded gift box that I picked up at Target, and I lined the inside of the base and the lid with double-sided stick tape. So I started on the lid and I put double-sided stick tape all around the inside of the lid. And then I went ahead and took her Christmas tree wrapping paper that she had sent, cut it out, and then secured it into there and folded in and wrapped it really good and put that on the top. Now, I could have probably used the same on the bottom, but I wanted to make it a little bit more interesting. So I had this white and gold polka dotted wrapping paper on hand as well. I thought it would complement it well. And so I put that on the bottom half of the present, repeating the same steps of the double-sided stick tape. It was just a little bit bigger this time around. And so we wrapped that up really good and it looked really cute. Then I wanted to add the ribbon. She sent me had like silver accents, but the wrapping paper had gold in it. So I wanted to use two different kinds of ribbon for that reason, to tie in the gold, but also to just up the ante a little bit, if you will. I first started out with this gold and white polka dotted ribbon, and I hot glued that on in a plus sign pattern. And then I went ahead and made a big bow with my old traditional way I make the bows that I learned in a floral shop, and I used both ribbons and twisted them together. And basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna twist and make a loop and try to make all of the loops the same size, and just keep going until I had, I think it was 2 loops on each side, 1 in the center, and then 2 tails. And then I took some wire, twisted that on into place, and then I fluffed up the bows and separated them, and it was looking so cute. And then I took the wire and twisted that on our plus sign of the present. And then I also hot glued it into place a little bit too for a good measure. And then we needed to address that Merry Christmas tag. Now it was cute on its own, but it wasn't gonna work with the color scheme that I had. So I went ahead and instead of trying to sand down the Merry Christmas that was kind of like a raised texture and it had glitter in it, I went ahead and just separated them and flipped them over. And when I did, it kind of caused a little bit of damage, so I did have to sand a little bit. Once I glued them together, I took them outside, spray painted them in a white so that they would coordinate with my present that I was creating, and then let that dry. And then I took it and I hot glued that onto the lid. And then I took some Christmas greenery scraps that I had, some pine needles and some white berries, and glued those in to just kind of up the ante. Now we needed to replace something on the tags, and we couldn't just leave them blank. So I went ahead and cut out Merry Christmas on my Cricut machine, as well as just another Christmas tree to kind of replicate what we've already got going on. And I used a different transfer tape, and I did not want to stick to the vinyl very well, so I struggled a little bit. I guess I was on the struggle bus to this episode, but we got through it. But I did get the Merry Christmas on the tags. And then to bring in some more of that silver from the bow, I went ahead and took a couple of little crystal jewels and put those on the tags just to make sure that everything kind of was cohesive between the gold and the silver. I loved this package as it was. Now you could take this package and use it as a regular present, but like I said, I was inspired by glowing things. And so I'm like, what if we could make this present look like it was levitating and it was like glowing out of the bottom? The way my brain works sometimes, I swear. Anyways, so what I did is I found like a glass vase that I was just a little bit taller than the package, so it would lift it off of the ground by like an inch maybe. I put the lid on the bottom side of the package instead of on the right way, so it was hollow underneath, if that makes sense. So then I sat that present on the top of the vase. I also stuck these lights were battery operated, so I stuck the battery pack inside the vase, and then I kind of wrapped the lights around the vase underneath the present. Then you put the present on top of it, and that's it. This really looked like it was like levitating and glowing from the bottom. It was like, ah. It was so pretty and so magical. I loved it. And then I was thinking about it. I didn't have to set the battery pack in there. I could have just hidden it somewhere else. What if you had like a very special gift that you wanted to give that you could hide underneath this glowing present? What if somebody was going to propose on Christmas or Christmas Eve? This would be perfect to hide like the ring box inside this glass vase under this glowing Christmas present package. Put that in your back pocket, because that's a really fun idea to put it inside there and have this glowing present. Oh, anyways, this is so magical. This was a surprise favorite of mine because I just love how this turned out, and I just am so excited by it. And I hope that you found some inspiration in it and you could replicate it with different wrapping papers of your choice. I had fun putting this very simple and easy yet beautiful DIY together. Okay, so we've got Cece here, and she brought us these darling sunglasses. They've got crowns on them, and she made them. We like to wear sunglasses at night, right?
If you're so bright, you need sunglasses with your
Oh,
crown.
she's so sweet. So she has a YouTube channel. I'm going to link it in the description box below, but we are having so much fun, and we're glad that we could meet you.
Yes.
So.
I'm glad I got to meet you too.
Okay, so we've got Debbie and her daughter Lindsay, and they have really cool fairy hair.
They do.
So fun. I'm so glad that they could join us here. We're having a good time.
We are having a good time.
So
Very busy.
yeah, it's busy. It's really busy. Okay, so when Wendy sent me a box of those little nutcrackers, it made me smile because I had made these two big ones right here. You can't see it right now. I call them Hans and Fritz earlier in the year, and I had thought about making like a smaller version. So it was like we were on the same wavelength, Wendy, you and I. It was like, So that was really fun to get that box. So if you can imagine, you kind of know what I'm going to do with those. right? So we're gonna turn these into some candlesticks. They are a little bit lighter weight, so I needed to add a little bit of weight to them. So the first thing that I did is cut down like a wooden block that was a little bit heavier into different sizes, 2 shorter ones and 2 medium-sized ones. On this one with the crowns, we are gonna cut off the top here so that it's flat for us to put a candle cup on it. And then what I did to assemble these is I took some wood glue and put the base of our candlesticks onto those. Then I took these little tiny candle cups that you can get at Hobby Lobby or probably other craft stores as well, and glued those to the top. After, of course, I cut the tops off of them so they were a little bit flatter surface. Otherwise, there was not a lot of surface contact, so I would recommend cutting those down a little bit flatter. And then I let that fully dry. Now, there were 5 in the package. I'm only making 4, and that is because one of them was a little cattywampus, a little crooked. It would have been a little weird to put a candle in that and maybe a little dangerous, so I only ended up doing the 4. I hope you'll forgive me for that, but maybe I'll think on that one. Maybe I can turn it into an ornament. I'm not doing it in this episode, but I still have it. I should have used that in my ornament project coming up. Foreshadowing. Like in the bigger project, once everything was dried wood glues wise, I went out and I spray painted them all in a black spray paint. And then once that was fully dry, this part is so super easy. I just took some gold leaf rub and buff and I squoze it out. I like to use those inexpensive chip brushes because then I can toss them when I'm done, and I kind of tamp it in and I kind of brush some of it off. And as you make them, the less you're going to need of this because the rub and buff kind of builds up on the chip brush, and then you just kind of brush it over the top of it and let some of the black show through. It kind of gives it an antique look, and then get it as gold as you want, and that was it. Now here comes in the other twist. We were given a twist of where we needed to use a birthday candle. Now I might be stretching it a little bit, but I have seen people use these skinny little candles that I put in these candlesticks as a birthday candle before. So I'm saying I'm still in the rules on this. So I put, because those little cups that I put on these little nutcrackers were so tiny, I couldn't use a standard sized candle. So I got these very tiny skinny ones. They were still even a little bit skinny for the candle cup. They were close, but what I ended up doing is kind of melting the bottom wax and sticking them into place. But I love how these turned out. They are so cute. I am definitely going to be keeping these with the bigger ones and maybe using them year after year after year because they are so adorable. I love it. Thank you, Wendy, for sending me more of those adorable nutcrackers to work with. I'm really happy with how these turned out. Again, more glowing lights. So let's check back in at the Water Lantern Festival and see what I did and what we all did to decorate our lanterns. Okay, so here's what we're doing. We have these lanterns. They look like this. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna write whatever we want, but it's usually like in honor or memory of somebody, or like hopes and dreams that you have. And then when you release it onto the water, you put it out there for good luck. Yeah. So it's the Chinese Water Lantern Festival, and it's gonna be so much fun. So excited.
And I thought this was not gonna be very big. This is a really huge event.
It's a really big event.
There's got to be 5,000 people here.
There's tons, and it's been so much fun meeting a few of you. So amazing. You guys are the best, and we'll do some stuff like this in the future in another location. So I'm excited to share a little bit of what we did here tonight. Okay, honey, what are you thinking about writing on your lantern?
It's a secret.
It's a secret?
No, it's not. No, I'm gonna write down all of our children.
Okay.
Okay. You. And then, you know what? I'm gonna write a note to my dad.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
He passed away in 2020. I'm gonna write him a little note.
That's sweet.
I'm gonna write him a little note.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I have my other father, Jim, and he's up in Maine, and I'm gonna write him a note too. And then while I'm at it, I should write my mom a note.
You're just hitting everybody.
Right?
I love it.
So that's what we'll do.
Well,
what are you gonna write?
So I'm thinking that I'm gonna write, well, I already wrote Greg and Natalie in a heart.
You're such a teenager.
I am such a teenager. I'm gonna send that out with some good vibes. And then Jessie. And I like doing her children. That's a really good idea. So I don't know, maybe I'll write something nice about our wonderful community.
Cool. Love it.
What an amazing and special experience this has been. Like, just so heartwarming. I definitely want to do this again soon.
Really in the valley, deepest part, and the one that pulled me through was Jesus. He helped me out there. He kept me strong. He kept me filled, and he loved me too.
Husband.
Yes,
What'd you put on your lantern?
Grateful for my family, my sweetheart Lisa Birmingham, and God. Grateful for peace.
Love it.
Grateful for the chance to help others. Grateful for my Utah State Aggies.
All right, go BYU. Woo! Hey, Lisa, what you writing on there?
Oh, okay. So grateful for health, happiness, joy, and I love Ken. I do.
That's her sweetie
There he
right there.
Okay, so family and God is my #1 priority. I'm grateful for my blessings. I am thankful. I think it's always important to be grateful and show gratitude in your heart. I think that is a big proponent of happiness. Is gratitude.
Absolutely.
And I just feel like we are blessed.
We are. We're so blessed.
Okay, so we've got Lindsay here. She stopped by. She's amazing. I've had so much fun just visiting with her for a few minutes. So hopefully for a few minutes more.
Yeah.
She has the drill.
She has the
I have the drill and I love it. And I had to come meet Natalie because she's such a sweetheart and such an inspiration. Thank you so much.
Okay, next up was that Let It Snow sign that received a little bit of damage during the shipping. Now, the shipping box was a little bit beat up when I got it, and one of the casualties was that Let It Snow sign, but we're gonna work around it. So what I decided to do was carefully remove the Let It Snow galvanized tin part, and then I took it to my saw and cut off the edges. If we wanted the Let It Snow to still fit on the sign, I couldn't cut off anymore, so there was that still damaged area, but you know what? We're gonna roll with it. We're gonna roll with the punches, and I'm gonna disguise it because I had a whole bunch of different kinds of snowflakes that I've had in my stash for a couple of years, and like maybe 3 years, I think. And I'm like, this is the perfect project to use it on. It says Let It Snow, so let's use some snowflakes to make a frame on this. So I flipped it over so we had this smooth back, and I started kind of assembling them in a random pattern. I had a couple of different designs, and I kind of got an overall look of what I wanted, and I hot glued those into place. Then I had a whole bunch of little tiny ones, and I wanted to really look like it had snowed. So I went ahead and glued those all over the place. And before you know it, who could even tell that there was a damaged corner on that? You couldn't, because it was disguised. And I decided to take it out and spray paint it all white. And I let that dry. I gave it a good spray paint job, and it was dried. While we were out there, I wanted to also change up the look of the Let It Snow to give it a little bit more frou-frou look. I don't know, I must have had Lisa in mind when I was making this, because this ends up reminding me of something that she might approve of. So I spray painted the Let It Snow in a gold, and once that was dry, I went over it. I had some leftover of that gold glitter blast from earlier this Christmas season that I had, and I also gold glitter blasted that thing. And once everything was dry, the paint, I took it all inside to reassemble. And so what I did is I hot glued the gold sign back on, and then I took some of that same golden white polka dotted ribbon that we used on the gift and used that as a hanger, and then that was it. It was very simple but very it has a whole new look, does it not? It looks completely different. That damage is completely hidden. And I think it's something that Lisa would approve of because it's white and gold. She loves white and gold and I love it. And I think it turned out really cute and I hope you enjoyed that project. Okay, now it's time to release the lanterns. Let's go check back in the Water Lantern Festival. It's time, we're gonna go release them. So excited. Okay, I'm gonna release mine, honey. All right, honey. You gonna release yours? It's time. Okay, you ready? Yep. Here we go. It's time to put it in the water. Our wishes and hopes. This has just been an incredible experience. It's been so much fun meeting some of you and spending a little time, and we will definitely be doing this more in the future, so stay tuned for other events coming. This has been just wonderful, really lifting. Thanks for joining. Lisa, I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for you. I'm so glad that we could be friends and like go through this journey of YouTube together. It's been amazing.
It has been. I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else.
It's wonderful. Besties for life.
Besties for life.
Ride or die. This next one, I didn't change it much, but what we had left over out of the whole package was the ornament, the Noel ornament that she sent, and the string left over from the macrame kit. I decided to use these two and elevate the look of the ornament and change it to match my decor here. So what I did is I snipped it and broke it all apart, and I took those wood blocks and spray painted them in that 18 karat gold Krylon spray paint that I love so much. It's the prettiest gold spray paint ever. And let that dry. On my Cricut machine, I cut out new Noels in that same glitter vinyl that we used earlier, and I just wanted it to be very, very subtle, so it was more textural than anything, and I cut out new N-O-E-L, Noel, and I applied those on each block. I decided to reassemble, and I used the green macrame cord. Now, I didn't end up using the ivory or the gold. I hope you forgive me, but I did use the green, and I threaded our ornament. And I tied knots on either side, a slip knot on the top for the little loop, and then I added a little knot for security. And then on the bottom to hold the blocks in place. And then I created a tassel using the remainder of that green macrame cord. And that's really simple. You just wrap it around and then you tie a little knot, and you have a tassel that I tied with that bottom cord that was hanging out. And then I'm like, you know what would be really pretty is if we could just fray that out and have it be a little bit more wispy, if you will, like a little bit more tassel-y and less rope looking. And so I went to the effort of just separating out all of those strands, and it looked really beautiful. But I have a poinsettia theme going on in my decor this year. I don't know if you can tell. So it needed a poinsettia, and I had a sticker and I hot glued that into place, and that was it. And I love how this turned out. It was a simple change. It went from a little bit more country to a little bit more fancy. Neither is better than the other. It's just a different look, and it just shows you that you can have a totally different take on the same exact item and give it a whole new look. And that's what we did with this ornament, and I love it. Okay, so I was about to leave. In fact, I actually had left the Water Lantern Festival thinking that I had met everybody who had come there, and then I got a call from Lisa, and she was like, turn back around, we missed a couple ladies. Yeah, I'm going back because we almost missed somebody who came to see us.
Beverly. I make comments on your channel all the time.
I'm Bonnie.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm so glad we were able to.
Me too. It took us over 2 hours to get here. We didn't anticipate all the traffic and
It was
how
crazy.
far because we came from Mount Georgia.
Lisa's here. We're having a good time.
They flagged us down. We were on our way. She's like,
We kept asking, do you know where they are? Do you know where? And nobody's like, no.
We're
like,
finally
oh,
gonna chase
we went
her
to the
down.
last one and she said, I think it's a blonde girl just walking. So I like chasing her.
Okay, so the Water Lantern Festival was mine and Lisa's way of paying it forward to you and all of your incredible support that you have given us. We love you, and I would love to do this again in the future in different locations because I now know that this audience and this community is all over the US, all over Canada, in different countries, and so hopefully we can do more of these in-person meetup events in the future. It was so much fun and I would love to do it again, and so comment down below where you would like a meetup and maybe I can find a common theme and come up with some different locations. So from Rudolph DIYs to a Water Lantern Festival, I hope this episode was really, really memorable, but we're not through yet because remember there is a whole playlist of other mystery boxes and I sent mine to Courtney from Creative on the Cheap, one of the hosts of this fun collaboration. So if you want to see what she did, I've got her link in the description box below as well as the full playlist so you can check them all out. They're voting. There's information on how to vote for your favorite DIYs, your favorite crazy projects, maybe like lit up Rudolph project or a floating elevated gift box, I don't know. But vote for your favorite. There's information in the description box below. And finally, a big thank you to Creality for sponsoring this episode. If you have a thought about maybe getting into the laser cutting image, it is about as professional as you can get, and it's just such a cool machine and product. So a big thank you to them. I put their information in the description box as well. Check it out and would make a really great Christmas gift. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If so, here's another one that I think you'll like as well. And to all of my DIY goddesses, you are more powerful than you know. We'll see you next time. Bye.